Welcome, everyone. I want to make sure this mic is on too. Testing. Good. Okay, how can you hear me? Okay. Thank you for your patience. We were having a little bit of a feedback issue. We try to be good about taking feedback, but this time we were like, no, it's not time for the feedback. So I'm so happy to have Hareesh here with us again. You got the joke? So happy to have Hareesh back. He was here a couple times already, and thank you for coming. We're going to have a very good evening, I'm sure. And then, of course, Kevin here. Thank you for coming up here on the stage and playing bass and guitar and tambura for us. And then Ramana, the tabla player with the absolute highest. The tabla player with the mostest is what I'm trying to say. I love playing with him. He's just makes everybody sound good. So how is the sound? Is this okay? It's not too much for you. Yeah. Okay, good. Hannah, are we good to go? Yeah. All right. Welcome to the YouTubers also, and to these new folks who I've seen some familiar faces and some new faces. My name is Chandra at Easton. I teach every Tuesday night here. The class is called Releasing into Presence, which is meant to be just that. We find ways through the body, the breath and voice, as well as the mind to enter into an experience of our own natural state, aka presence. And what I find is that often, in order to do that, we need to be reminded maybe to release into presence. So let's do that right now. Let's close our eyes and take some deep breaths. And even with a sigh, verbally, if it helps you, that feeling of releasing the burden of the day, of the week, of your whole life, even. If you want, you can even put your hands down on the earth and say, put it down. Let's put it down tonight so we can have some levity, some joy, some devotional ecstasy, even. Ask Mother Earth to hold that burden, at least for this period of time. Feel your shoulders lighten, relax. And then entering this space of presence also with a feeling of gratitude for having the privilege to be here, practicing together in community with this beautiful space that's not easy to manifest. So thank you to the Alembic for all you do, Hannah, Katie, Michael, Eric, and the whole team, Laura, and everybody else. I'm forgetting some other names. Thank you, everybody. And it's helpful to situate ourselves. We are on the indigenous land of Lisjanaloni, recognizing that this land belonged to others before we came, and honoring that, and giving thanks, and also entering this space together with gratitude and awareness. Let's take some deep breaths again. Whew, and release into presence even a little more deeply than before. Maybe you feel your belly warming up and softening. The belt line softening, no need to hold it in. The kidneys nourished by the breath. The adrenals. Regulating the nervous system with each exhalation, softening the muscles of the face. And recognizing that whatever you came in here with is welcome. It's okay. You're not alone. And as we release into presence together, we feel that community around and behind and front, to the side, above and below. This feeling of support and love. And it's through that feeling of interconnectedness we can arouse our heartfelt motivation to practice bodhicitta, the mind or the spirit of awakening, the mind that turns towards awakening for our own benefit, of course. That's important. But also the benefit of others, because we recognize that if others aren't free, I'm not free. That's bodhicitta. That compassionate heart that longs to be of service in some way, large or small. Tonight we'll do that through prayer and practice to fuel you so that when you go out into the world, your bodhisattva activities can flourish even more. And we'll start with this opening prayer to Narayani. It's at the top of your prayer sheet if you would like to read with us, sing with us, or simply listen. The English is below. If you like to read the English, you can do that to yourself. We'll do 7 repetitions tonight. This is how we open. We honor Devi and her many forms connected with Tara, but in this context, from the Devi Mahatmya, the 12th chapter, we have this beautiful prayer to Narayani, who is also connected with Tara, the female Buddha of compassion. I'll call and you can respond, and then we do it together. Sharanagata dinartha, Sharanagata dinartha, Paritrana parayane, Paritrana parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata dinartha, Paritrana parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata dinartha, Paritrana parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata dinartha, Paritrana parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata dinartha, Paritrana parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata dinartha, Paritrana parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata dinartha, Paritrana parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata dinartha, Paritrana parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute. And now we'll open our hearts to Tara. Tara is the female Buddha of compassion. She manifests in so many different ways. She's known as the Savioress, she who saves beings from the ocean of samsara. So you have this mantra on your chant sheet. I don't remember exactly where it is on that chant sheet, but it's simply Om Namo Aryatara. I think it's on the first page, maybe the first or second mantra after. Other side, it's Om Namo Aryatara on the first page. You find it? It's quite simple. That's it, basically. Om, I pay homage to Noble Tara. That's what it means. Sometimes we loop in, I think it'd be fun tonight, we haven't done this lately, is looping in the different colors. Shukra Tara. So we say, instead of Om Namo Aryatara, we could say Om Namo Shukra Tara. And you'll see the different colors are there. You'll just hear me, I might spontaneously sing a color and we'll sit with that one for a while. There's white Tara, red Tara, green Tara, blue-black Tara, tinsel Tara, golden Tara. So they all have these different powers like a rainbow. You can feel light as you chant over in various colors. It's on the other side. Yeah, it's at the top of the second page. You show it to me. So we can replace Aryatara with Shukra, Rakta, Nila, Shyama, Svarna, and Krishna. Mm-hmm. You want to say those colors, like which colors those need your glasses?
White.
White is Shukra.
Red.
Red is Rakta.
Dark blue.
Dark blue is Nila.
Blue black.
Blue black.
Shyama.
Shyama.
The color of the monsoon cloud about to burst.
Yes.
Shyama.
Shyama.
Gold.
Svarna.
And deep black.
Krishna.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. Alright, so we might not hit on all of them. Let's see who wants to come play with us. Does it sound like fun? So just follow, My motto for my life right now is listen and follow. Listen and follow. I need a sip of water. I'm listening and I'm following. So I'll call and you guys will pick up and Hareesh will be your guide with the responses. So I'm calling, he's responding, follow him. Oh, you start. Wow, just so many things to think about. Tonight, my vision is to open our hearts in prayer and transcend the intellect, the thinking mind, and release into the heart space. I often feel that way when I sit with Hareesh. We used to teach a lot together. He's just a big walking heart. So I feel that between him and I and Kevin and Ramana, we might be able to encourage and open and guide a little bit into that heart space. Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara. Namo Nilatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Nilatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Raktatara.
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 Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Svarnatara. Om Namo Svarnatara.
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 Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
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 Om Namo Krishnatara. Om Namo Krishnatara.
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 Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
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 Om Namo Shyamatara. Om Namo Shyamatara.
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 Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara.
Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo Aryatara. Om Namo
For those interested in the crossovers, white Tara appears in Shaivism, in Tantric Shaivism, as Paradevi, the supreme goddess of the Trika, who's also related to Prajna Paramita Devi.
The mother of all the Buddhas.
And even if you look at their anthropomorphic forms, which is not their true essence, but still they're quite similar.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, and generally, white Tara is considered to be, well, she bestows the ultimate gift of liberation. And we pray to her that she opens the doorway to that. But she's also she's associated with longevity.
Mm.
So good health, longevity. And there are many different practices. Atisha Dipamkara, the great Mahayana teacher who brought the Lojong, the mind training slogans, up to Tibet in the 11th century, as a part of revival of Buddhism in Tibet, because it had gone through a couple hundred years of decline, because one of the kings, Longdharma, didn't like Dzogchen. He had it out for it because he thought there was no ethics to it, that there was, people were misunderstanding some of these.
Non-duality, anything goes.
Exactly, the non-dual teachings. He thought people, I can kill, I can rape, it doesn't matter because there's no karma. So Tibetan Buddhism actually went through a period of decline right before the end of the first millennia. And there was a great king in the late thousands, early 1100s, King Yeshe, who invited Atisha 3 times to come to Tibet, and only on the 3rd invitation, which is not that uncommon, did Atisha decide to come. Why? Because Tara appeared to him in a vision or dream and said, if you go to Tibet, it will shorten your lifespan, but you will benefit many beings. And so that was his vow, as the Bodhisattva vow, was to benefit beings. He thought, okay, I'll go to this wild land of Tibet. And he brought with him teachings of Mahayana, mainly compassion, because it's Tara, his Ishta Devata, who said, there's no liberation without compassion, without the heart. And so he brought these teachings on the heart, on cultivating bodhicitta, compassion, to Tibet. But he also brought with him practices and devotion and texts devoted to white Tara and green Tara. Yeah. So, she's a beautiful one. She's one of my primary practices, white Tara. And in the 21 Tara pantheon, there are many of these different colored Taras with different meanings. And there are 3, not 4 white ones, different angles on longevity and good health. And so, do I need this? Yeah, you go. Okay, good.
No. I'm just getting it out of the way.
Oh, okay. And so, Tara is powerful, and she, in a sense, transcends. She's the womb of totality. She is the mother of all Buddhas. She is like an emanation of that Prajna Paramita, the great goddess, the great mother, and manifests for the benefit of beings in the Sambhogakaya field of complete enjoyment, dimension of light. She's kind of like angels. These Sambhogakaya beings remind me of what, maybe in Christianity we talk of as like angels. If we have our perceptions are clear, or devotion is strong, or great need is great, and you're really calling for help, we can have visions or experiences of guidance in that way. And the Taras, like other deities, are very much like that.
Yeah, Para Devi is very similar. She's visualized as having a translucent white light body. And she holds a manuscript of wisdom. And she holds a crystal mala.
Nice.
And she is said to be the embodiment of Chit Pratibha, which means the innate, intuitive wisdom of consciousness. The innate intelligence or embodied instinct or even creative inspiration of consciousness, because those are all translations of the same word.
Yeah.
Pratibha.
Pratibha.
Yeah.
So Hareesh is a scholar in non-dual Shaiva Tantra. At Shaiva,
Yeah,
Tantra.
Shaiva Tantra.
And I am a scholar, we're both practitioner scholars, of Vajrayana, or Tibetan Buddhism, it's known, but that's kind of a misnomer. It's not only in Tibet. Himalayan Buddhism is another way of saying it, but it's a diamond vehicle of Tantric Buddhism, as well as Dzogchen. And there are so many overlaps of Dzogchen, which is non-dual teachings on what's called natural liberation, rangdrol, rather than like transformation, where you have to achieve some kind of particular quality to reach, the final gate of enlightenment. It's more about naturally liberating clinging and fixation so that we can experience our true nature. And when I talk to Hareesh, there's not a lot of difference there. Yeah.
Yeah. Depends on what lineages we're looking at, but we can easily find lineages of Shaivism and lineages of Tantric Buddhism that are teaching exactly the same thing, both in the exoteric and the esoteric dimension.
Yeah.
And we can also find lineages that differ, right?
Yeah.
But it's as if there's a Venn circle diagram, right, where Tantric Buddhism and Tantric Shaivism overlap, and that sweet spot, it also has a historical locus. It was happening in Udayana, in Kashmir, in Tibet, and in Nepal at one time, that these two apparently distinct traditions were overlapping, were borrowing from each other, both on the level of practice and on the level of theory or doctrine. And it was a kind of cross-pollination,
Absolutely.
There was no antagonism or anything. But when in the modern period we put an ism, then we think of it as a thing unto itself, a monolithic entity, which it really wasn't.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Like the Buddha, even back when he was teaching, he didn't want to found a religion. He wanted to paint him as he got older. Can we draw you, paint you, so that when you die, we can remember you or pray to you? He didn't want that. Until finally one day he said, okay, I'm sitting in front of this lake or body of water. You can draw the reflection of me. And that's the first image of the Buddha that was ever made. And now we have all these images, we can buy them on the internet. But he didn't, the isms came way later. And Hinduism wasn't even really a thing until like the British, right? They kind of named the Indus Valley traditions as an ism.
Modern scholars basically say we can speak of Hinduism from 1500 onward, because this is a complicated subject we don't want to get into.
Okay,
but very simply, all the traditions and lineages that go to make up Hinduism, of course, predate, or almost all of them predate 1500. But there was no sense of a Hindu identity. Nobody called themselves a Hindu before 1500. And the thing that changed that was Muslim conquest. So in contradistinction to the radically other Muslim religion, people in India started calling themselves Hindu.
Okay.
And by that time, Buddhism was already no more in India itself. And if it had still been there, it might have been included in
isn't that
the
interesting?
Construction of Hinduism. Yeah.
That is interesting. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
I would have liked that. I mean, when we go to Nepal, it's kind of like that. Don't you think?
Yeah, they don't see they don't understand this difference of Hinduism and Buddhism in Nepal at all.
Yeah.
It's all mixed.
That's why I feel at home there, because I love both too. Well, what would you like to do? What would you like to do now? Chant, or should we sit and then end the evening with chanting? Do you have a prayer you'd like to offer now?
I like the idea of a prayer, actually, rather than a chant.
Good, please.
You said the word prayer, so
you
you sparked something.
Good. Okay.
So prayer in these traditions, of course, is very different from in Western monotheistic traditions. We're not picturing a supernatural, superhuman being in the sky and asking him or her to grant our petition, but rather we're tapping into our own deepest essence nature and basically putting out there waves of intention, waves of energy in the form of intention to benefit all beings. So I'll just take you through a brief little practice, okay? So bring your attention to your heart region. So that's like this region of the chest, this whole region of the chest. And bring your awareness there, drop in there. Make sure you relax the jaw, which helps you drop out of your head space and into this center. It's the center of your body and the center of your energy body. And imagine in the middle of that space, there's a literal space, like a beautiful opening of pure spaciousness right in the middle of the heart region. Now, if you have a bija mantra or a syllable that you work with in your practice, you imagine it in that space glowing in letters of pure golden light. So it could be Om or any other bija, single syllable mantra, glowing in that space of the heart in letters of golden light. And if you're not connected to any bija, just form a single point, a bindu point of brilliant, radiant, golden light deep in the heart. It doesn't matter if you're not visual, you're not trying to see it, you're feeling it. Feel as if there's this point of golden light or mantra made of golden light in the space of the heart. And this point or this mantra starts radiating out undulating waves of light in all directions. So stay with that. And just as music can ride on radio waves, our intention, our prayer, can ride on these waves of light, fanning out in all directions from your heart. Whether you're feeling it or imagining it, either way is fine. So I'll give you some suggestions for the prayer or intention, and you can add something of your own as well. Stay as focused as you can, focused on that point of light or mantra made of light, beaming light waves out in all directions, in front, behind, either side, above, below, and diagonally as well. And riding on those waves of light is your heartfelt, our heartfelt intention. May all beings realize their freedom. May all beings know peace. May all beings feel full. May all beings experience happiness. And add a sentence or two of your own, please, silently. Now, intensify the light rays as much as you can while you hear the following mantras. The mantras say in Sanskrit what I just said in English, but the mantras have been passed down for many, many centuries, so they're even more powerful, imbued with the love and longing of countless practitioners and masters. So as you hear the mantras, intensify the light rays moving out from your heart in all directions and imagine them blessing all beings everywhere. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham muktir bhavatu. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. That last line all together. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Two more all together. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Harihi Om Tat Sat. And all those light rays dissolve into the very tissues of your body and the bodies all around you, as well as into the 5 elements, those light rays of love and offering and dedication and intention. Imagine them seeping into the earth and the water and the fire and the wind and the space for the benefit of all beings in all times and spaces. Om. Om. Thank you for joining that practice. And if you want to do that practice at home on a daily or weekly basis, another way to do it is to just a little bit combine it with Tonglen.
Yeah.
So what you do is you feel a little bit of the suffering that's out there in the world and in you. And you breathe in that suffering to this space in the heart. You consciously breathe in the suffering until you feel the heart of compassion crack open. So just for some of us, it just takes 2 breaths, Just you breathe it in until the heart of compassion cracks open and you feel that. And then you do the practice we just did together. It can be very powerful because it transmutes the grief you have over the suffering in the world to this powerful blessing energy that can actually do some good. So you might give it a try.
Yes, and you can do that by going to the Olympics YouTube page and watching, fast forwarding it to right now, and rewatch it again and again and learn that melody. It's beautiful. Maybe in the notes we'll add the prayer. Can you send those to me? And I'll add them in the comment below so people can really learn that. Yeah.
And also, it's wonderful to learn the Sanskrit mantras, but it's not necessary, right? The practice can be powerful enough without the Sanskrit mantras also. It's up to you.
So tonight is a hybrid night. This is spontaneous. I got to have him here tonight. But I also want to weave Hareesh into the theme that we are continuing with from last week. Some of you folks were like, yeah, I've come back to hear the last 3 of the 5 poisons. Fun. But I think it will be a rich conversation for us. So for those of you who haven't been to this class before, every Tuesday night we talk about one of the mind training slogans, which is the context within which we learn Tonglen. So it's all about this cracking open of compassion for self and others. And so last week we cracked open the 27th slogan, I believe, right? Yeah, Marianne? This 27th is work with the strongest hindrance first.
Or it says defilement.
Or defilement is fine. It's klesha.
Yeah.
Whatever. How do you like to translate it? So many different ways.
Affliction.
Yeah. Like Alan Wallace translates it as mental affliction, but others translate it as more like afflictive emotions. But I think within the 5 that they list in Buddhism, there's a bit of both. Depends on which one you're talking about.
Psychic affliction.
Yeah, that's how I feel kind of weird for some people, but if you understand what psychic really means.
Of the psyche.
Afflictions of the psyche.
Is what we mean.
Yeah. So one of them, is ignorance. So that's not an emotion. That's more of a mental affliction, right? But then another one is aversion, anger, hatred. That's more, I would say, an emotion, right? So it doesn't really matter, but klesha is a Sanskrit word. And in Dharma and Buddha Dharma, you have what are called these 5 afflictive mental afflictions. And we spoke about the first 2 last week. Who wants to remind everybody what those are?
And let me just mention, for those who've studied Patanjali Yoga Sutra, they're the same. 4 of the 5 are the same exact ones of the kleshas of Patanjali Yoga Sutra.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Thank you. So I feel like I'm going microscopic really fast for how many people, maybe that's good. Yeah. How many people are familiar with Lojong, mind training, Tonglen, all of that stuff? Raise your hand just so I see the room. About half, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So.
And how many know the kleshas from Patanjali Yoga Sutra? Some others. Yeah.
Crossovers. So remember I spoke of Atisha, who went up to Tibet and brought Tara, the white and green Tara, and compassion practices. Well, these teachings on mind training, Lojong, that we're studying here, were born from his teachings. And it's a text, the text that we're using is a famous text called the 7-Point Mind Training. And it was written by like 2 generations past Atisha. So he didn't study with Atisha, but over time these slogans began to morph, and there are many different versions of them. But this one is from the student named Chekawa Yeshe Dorje. Chekawa Yeshe Dorje. You can take this handout home, by the way, if you want to. And I write the source text that it's on there, so you should get that book if you like these teachings and you feel drawn towards them. I highly recommend getting the book called The Path of Great Awakening by Jamgon Kongtrul.
And it's a complete teaching on these 3 pages.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, take it home, study it. If you could understand just these sentences on these 3 pages, that would be all you need. That's a complete teaching there.
Absolutely. So it starts with, you could see it starts with training the preliminaries, and then it drops us right into the deep end of like rest in the nature of mind, basically 4 or 5 slogans that teach us how to recognize our true nature, Buddha nature, or Rigpa, or primordial consciousness, however we want to describe it. Those teachings are offered out of the gate right away. And hopefully some folks will get it. Like, yeah, got it. Some people will need more warm-up for it, or kind of preliminary practices. But if you get it, great. It means your karmas are there, perhaps. You have some kind of karma with it. And then all the subsequent 59, so there are 59 total. Subsequent 59 are one-liners that teach us how to practice, integrate realization into our daily life, how to be a better person, and how to reduce clinging, reduce fixation on our separate sense of self that we have to protect and defend and justify and, improve in order to earn love. All of that is based on an illusion, really, that there is no self. Like no self, when you realize that, no problem. Okay, that's sort of a broad generalization, but it's an interesting thing to touch on, especially in light of some things that Hareesh and I were talking about earlier today that I'd like to weave in a little bit. But as promised, this is also why we're finishing this slogan, number 27. I'm leaving the country on Tuesday, and I won't be here for 5 weeks. We have a wonderful teacher who's doing a 5-week series on Tibetan yoga and pranayama. So I highly recommend coming. That's with Luke. I don't know his last name. Very good teacher. Caramel. Great. He's not here tonight, is he, Luke? No, he came last week. Okay. So that'll be for 5 weeks, and then I come back in April. And then we'll pick up where we left off with slogan number 28. Okay, so this slogan of work with the strongest defilement or mental, emotional, or psychic affliction first. That means like go right for the jugular. If you notice anger is strongest in you, work with that. Don't work with the other ones first. Go right for the jugular. And so we talked about 2 of the 5, jealousy and conceit, last week, and how to work with those. Jealousy is often born of a feeling that you're not good enough. You need to compare yourself and compete with others. So we talked about how to work with that. Or conceit, arrogance. That's also based on a feeling of not enough, right? Often when somebody's arrogant, it's because they're insecure or they feel they have to puff themselves up. Now, a healthy sense of confidence is fine. That's great. We all love that and need that. But when it gets inflated, that's when it causes suffering. So as I'm talking, think about, okay, what could be the strongest one for me? Where would I start? Yeah. But now tonight we're getting to kind of like the 3 core poisons: ignorance, aversion, and clinging. Those are the 3 root ones, really. And within those 3, the main one is ignorance. What are we ignorant of? Our true nature, the way we truly exist. And because of that, all the other myriad of afflictions are born. But if we can go right to the root and recognize the true mode of our existence, emptiness or non-self perhaps, or that we are actually consciousness temporarily having a very strange experiment in this human body. One of my teachers said, she'd say as a joke, reincarnation. What were we thinking? Like, whoa, this is quite a ride. Sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's terrifying. In any case, when we recognize our true nature, consciousness with a really good sense of humor, then the others release naturally. It's not a problem. But it takes some, for some people, that's not so hard. Other people, it takes some preparation. Yeah.
There's this famous image I think all of you have seen. It's the wheel of samsara. So it's popularized by Buddhism. You've got Mahakala, the great time, who looks like a demon, holding the wheel in his claws.
Yama.
Oh, it's Yama. It's Yama. Okay. For us, it's Mahakala.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
That's a good one too, actually. A really good one.
But in the Buddhist version, at the center of the wheel, or near the center, you see the three animals.
Yes.
Which are these
three poisons.
These main three poisons:
Yes.
ignorance, attachment, or you could call it clinging, and aversion, or you could call it hatred. And so they're near the center of the wheel, right? Because they are, in a sense, driving the whole wheel of samsara.
That's right.
And samsara means, in ancient times, it meant the cycle of reincarnation. But in this tantric period that we specialize in, samsara comes to mean the cycle of suffering.
Yes.
Suffering just going on and on and on and on, which actually relates more to the root, the Sanskrit root of the word, which means to run on and on. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Sansar. Yeah.
Sansar.
Yeah.
Sir,
Samsara.
could you please stop running around? I wasn't talking to you.
No. So that's the thing, to see how these three drive your own wheel of suffering that you externalize. You think, it's because people aren't nice to me, or the world is a hard place, or you're constantly externalizing it. But suffering is impossible if you don't have in yourself ignorance, attachment, and aversion. And they're not three different things. They're interrelated. Because when you are ignorant, it's avidya in Sanskrit. When you have a lack of wisdom or awareness of your own true nature, whether we call it your Buddha nature or your Shiva nature. If you have a
depends on your mood for the day. Right?
Yeah. If you have that lack of awareness of deep and visceral embodied awareness, right? Because we're not talking about a mental understanding. Your teacher can tell you, at the root, what you are is pure Buddha nature. Okay, I learned that. That's a thing I know now. No, you have to experience it, right? All the way down to your bones. And if you don't, attachment and aversion are the most natural thing in the world, because you're grabbing onto, with some desperation, it must be said, you're grabbing onto and clinging onto what you think will make you happy or fulfill you. Whether it's material things, whether it's experiences, right? Trungpa talked about spiritual materialism. That's like collecting experiences, peak experiences, thinking that is going to fulfill you. If you have enough peak experiences, that's clinging to. Clinging is like not accepting impermanence, not accepting that all things and beings will go, So you cling on and try to make things stay. You try to make them stay the way they are when they naturally want to change. And this one that's translated, sometimes as hatred or even anger, I personally don't like those translations, because aversion highlights the fact that it's resistance in another form. Just like clinging is resistance, you're resisting impermanence, so you cling. You're resisting the truth of your own innate being, so you cling on to something else.
Right. And you resist what you don't want.
Yes, exactly. And
You
that
cling towards what you want.
exactly. So clinging to what you want or think you want, what you think you need, and resisting what you think you need to be rid of, it's
Yeah.
the same essential energy going in two directions. So
That's right.
this clinging and aversion, it's
Hope and fear.
and that's why you'll see some Buddhist teachers talking about becoming free of hope, but in Western culture, hope has a kind of positive valence.
Yeah.
So that doesn't sound good, to become free of hope.
It can be a lifeline, hope. We
But
need
then-
it sometimes.
But then it's like becoming free of expectation, grasping,
That's
clinging
it.
on to. If only this could happen. That's the kind of hope
That's
that
right.
doesn't serve us.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's sometimes called the demon of elation, like
Mm.
like wanting what you don't have.
Mm.
I want to be famous. I wish I was with him or her. This type of thing takes us off our center, and it pulls us out into some fantasy. So yeah, hope. That's the kind of hope. Rewa in Tibetan. What's it called in Sanskrit? Hope.
Asha.
Asha. Interesting.
And
Yeah.
I like maybe the most
Mhm.
important one in our everyday lives that we can all relate to is our clinging and aversion to the people around us. Like we hope, we wish that they would just be a little bit different for our sakes. And the thing is, when you cling to the hope that people will change to become more like you want them to be,
Mm-hmm.
that makes you suffer.
Exactly. And that is what, in the commentaries to this slogan, they talk about the remedy to the poisons, right? So, okay, if you have this, then apply that. And the remedy for clinging is metta or maitri, loving kindness. Because it's like taking the energy or the momentum of like what is clinging, but then opening it. Like maybe I cling to my boyfriend. Don't leave me. Don't go off. But what's really there? Love. Yeah, he's like, cool, cling. It's like you can be jealous, you can cling. Good guy. Yeah, we joke about that actually. So I had a dream last night that I was jealous. So we talked about jealousy today. But clinging is a part of jealousy. And so the antidote is metta, which is Pali for loving kindness, or love or friendliness. Maitri, right? It's more like a friendly. It doesn't mean it's not. It doesn't mean it's what is the word for not sexual?
Platonic.
It doesn't mean it has to be platonic. It just means that the translation of that word tends towards a bit more of like a friendly love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's cultivating boundless. It's an immeasurable, right? How many people know the four immeasurables?
The four Brahma Viharas.
Brahma Viharas or Tsemeji.
They're also in Patanjali Yoga Sutra.
Isn't that cool? So who came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, he got it from Buddhism, right? Because he came later.
Buddhism came first.
We like to arm wrestle. No, I don't care. I love it all. But who can name the four immeasurables?
Which part of it?
You in the back.
About
You.
Cultivating, to the wicked and the virtuous and the happy and the unhappy.
Say it louder.
These four qualities.
You guys are talking.
Sorry.
Loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, equanimity.
Yeah, good, wonderful. I like empathetic joy a little better than sympathetic. Sympathy has a bit more, oh, poor you. At least that's how the Buddhist scholars are fine-tuning that a little bit more. But fabulous. You got it. Yeah, I felt them as you said them too. I can tell you steeped with them a lot.
And
But-
empathetic joy is the opposite of jealousy.
Well, we talked about that last
You already
week a
did.
lot.
Okay,
Yeah,
I won't say.
but good one. That is a great one, actually. Like for so long, that was my edge. Okay, how do I turn jealousy? Not that I'm always jealous, but that's a hard one. I don't want to make you think I'm like a jealous crazy lady, but jealousy, even competing with somebody, oh, they got the great job. Instead of being jealous, you turn it and say, I'm rejoicing in Kathleen's promotion. How wonderful. May it increase and increase, and may she find great joy. Instead of going like, God, I wish I had that. He seems so small-minded. So he's right. The antidote to jealousy is empathetic joy, mudita, right? Okay, but we're on the later 3. We don't have all night, okay? We don't have all night. But the antidote to clinging is loving kindness, which is so interesting. I just want to finish this up.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting because clinging, not just clinging to others and feeling loving kindness for others. I mean, that's sort of like the surface level teaching and practice, which is very important. But I'm thinking more about it lately as I was driving here. How does that feel internally, right? So like clinging is so painful. We notice that when we start meditating, we realize, holy shit, I'm like clinging all the time to this thought, taking that for a ride. Almost like most of the contents of the mind is like jumping from one cling stone to the next cling stone to the next cling stone for many people. And the practice is about creating more space, like dissolving the clinging, letting go of that grasping as another. Zinpa is the word in Tibetan. It's grasping, especially the core grasping, which is onto the self, the sense of self, I and mine. And we suffer because we think I and mine. Mine. I get that way when little toddlers come around and start slobbering all over my harmonium like at Madonna last weekend. I'm like, mine. And they're like, no. And they got in a little fight. No, I'm kidding. But I and mine, we suffer. But what if we turn, rather than being like, stop clinging, Chandra. God, by now you're 50. You've been practicing Dharma for a few decades. Why are you still clinging, girlfriend? Like the kind of like the shame that comes along when you realize you're just like doing something like clinging that causes so much suffering. How about instead of the kind of anger or aversion towards the clinging, turning towards the clinging or the thought or whatever suffering there is within you with loving awareness. Turn toward like a hand going from outward to turn like a shining light back. What would it feel like to turn towards the clinging with loving awareness? That's metta. That's self-metta. And that is a beautiful, I think, more effective way to dissolve and release the tendency to cling instead of like, well, the Buddha says I should do this, or that's bad, don't cling because it makes me suffer. What if we can take a moment here and be like, wow, I can see why you're clinging. He's pretty cool. This harmonium was kind of expensive, I can see why you're clinging. This is your favorite one you've ever had, that's okay. And then, the clinging starts to melt. I swear to God, try it. I'm sure many of you have been doing similar things. If you haven't approached your suffering by turning towards it with loving awareness, give it a try and see for yourself. In a way, that's internal metta. That's a form of practicing self-metta. There are other ways to do it, but it can be just as easy. Let's just try. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. And drop in, take a few breaths. And notice your internal landscape. Often the clinging manifests in the body as tension, right? Maybe tension in the jaw or in the shoulders or belly or throat or eyes, brow. Maybe that's a way you can find a little nugget of clinging. We're clinging, mining. Let's go on a clinging expedition. Where are you clinging? Where are you clinging now? And you might notice like how you normally work with your clinging. And clinging feels like grasping, like you're grabbing onto an idea. You're grabbing onto your identity or a thought. And then notice how you normally tend to work with that or feel like tension, like we should just go away, or breathe it away, or think it away, or cry it away. But before that normal, almost like knee-jerk reaction that you do, see if you can insert this moment of curiosity where you turn towards it with loving awareness. Turn towards it with loving awareness. Like, oh, I see you, like you would a child, yeah. And then notice what happens. You might need to do it again. Turn towards it again and again with this turning of the hand, like shining loving awareness back in. And then see if a release, a spaciousness starts to grow in you. That's what it said. When metta, or loving kindness, grows within us, and clinging diminishes, we experience a greater degree of spaciousness inside, inner spaciousness. And a kind of an honesty comes to us too, like, yeah, I know myself better, and I can be with myself. Yeah, feel free to open your eyes. Does anybody feel like the non-clinging self would like to share about their clinging? And then I think we'll do another chant. Yeah. Oh, we need to talk about the other two. The other one. Anyone want to share how that was for you? Did you feel it? Was it new for you? No. Yeah, feeding your demons is like that, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of a more structured way to do that. This could be like feeding your demons on the go, you know. Did anybody do that and it was new for you? I mean, no, it's not a big deal. Is that a new way to relate to yourself? Be honest. Sometimes we hear these things and they make sense, but do we really do them? Anyway, you don't have to. You don't have to share. I like to talk about stuff like that, but you don't have to. Yes, but you want to say something. I can feel it.
Little thing, just a little.
Good. No, I want to hear.
Just a tiny bit about my process of what really shifted things for me in this dimension. I think it's absolutely brilliant that both here and in Patanjali, it's avidya that's first. It's avidya that is the root of everything else.
Ignorance.
So instead of like solving or trying to solve, which you can't really do, one by one, it's like if you can get at the avidya, everything else falls away. But getting at the avidya doesn't have to mean becoming enlightened. There's a simpler, sweeter way to get at it, and it's similar to what Chandra was saying. But just to share my version of it, it's like when I saw that there was clinging or grasping, you're like, why? What's this clinging? Oh, it's because I want something, Yeah. So I want love, or I want recognition, or I want safety, or I want, pleasure, or whatever. Whatever it was that I was grabbing for, I would ask myself, is what I want out of this thing that I'm clinging towards, even if it's a material object, because you want material objects for the feeling you believe they will give you, and so I asked myself, is this thing that I want, the feeling that I want, already an intrinsic quality of my inner being?
Good question.
And I would discover, well, yes, it is. I'm grasping, I'm clinging towards love. It's already a quality of what I am.
Yes.
I'm grasping towards it's freedom, it's already a quality of what I am. I'm grasping towards recognition from others, but when the self recognizes itself, or consciousness recognizes itself, that's the most beautiful recognition of all. And so on. And so, but like making this into a practice of doing it all the time, that's what I discovered makes the big, big difference, you know? And the same then went for aversion. So I'm afraid of this, I'm averse to that, I don't like that, I don't want that. Why? Why am I pushing it away? You know? It's, you know, I don't want to be uncomfortable. But is the ability to be comfortable with being uncomfortable already an intrinsic quality of my being? Yes, it is. So the mind, you know, the body mind hates to be uncomfortable, to be challenged, or whatever it is. But then I remind myself, you know, and this was based on having done the clinging practice already, because this can be a little bit trickier, you know.
Yeah.
But coming to see and feel my real nature is always already okay with uncomfortable experiences being uncomfortable, you know.
That's an edge.
And
Easier said than done.
yeah. And the thing that connected these two, right, is the realization that I as a body, mind, self personality, am not in control of anything. So ultimately, the clinging and the pushing away are futile. They're deeply futile. Like, all I can control is the most trivial elements of my life. Everything that matters in my life, I'm not in control of. So when I saw that clearly, the futility of the clinging and the pushing was so starkly apparent that it took all the energy out of it, out of the grabbing and the pushing. And so that was the practice for me. And you can see how it's very much related to coming back to repose in your own innate being. If you don't yet know how to do that, then that's the number one priority. Find a practice, find a teacher that shows you how to repose in your innate being and discover what you fundamentally are, because then all the other practices become possible. You can do any practice successfully once you have that anchor in presence, selfless presence.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be realization, right? It's just having a taste of it. You just know how to like drop in a little bit to this selfless presence, and then that becomes the reference point for these issues of clinging and aversion and so on.
Yeah, you taste it. Nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah.
And it's about gaining confidence in that. More time. That's beautiful. And that leads to thank you. Beautiful. I love that. That idea of, or the realization that you had that really the most important things in your life you have no control over. It's only the trivial things in your life. I'm going to chew on that for a while and see how that pertains to my life. I like that. And then this last one of the 5 is, of course, aversion that you touched on. But I'll drop the remedy, from the commentary just so we can complete this circle. And I know that Eric really wants to know. Just kidding. It is patience. Patience. And I feel like you didn't say the word patience, but I feel like there is a quality of what Hareesh was saying around how he worked with his aversion that was patient. And that imbues, I think, you probably, I'm assuming, with patience for yourself and with others. Absolutely. Tolerance is another way to say it. It's zeba in Tibetan. I don't know. What is kshanti? Kshanti.
Kshama.
Kshama. Kshama. Kshama.
Yeah. And it's a fun little word because ksha is kind of a violent syllable.
Yeah.
And ma is gentle. So tolerance, patience, forbearance is kshama, because when life gets ksha, you get Ma.
Okay, that's a good way to remember it. I'm sure that's exactly what they meant when they wrote that word. Kshama, that's a great word. In Tibetan, it's zupa. Zupa. Some of you might know Lama Zopa. They call him Lama Zopa, but really it's Lama Zupa. It's an umlaut. Oh, but it means the patient Lama. That's his name. His name is the patient Lama. But one of my early mentors, Namang Tundup, or aka Kunola, was my Tibetan mentor, beautiful elder, came out with His Holiness the Dalai Lama in 1959, March 11th. March 10th was the uprising, and the Chinese were winning, so they snuck out. My mentor, he's passed away, was in his entourage and worked in the Dalai Lama's government for many years and wrote his biography, actually, the 13th Dalai Lama's biography into the 14th Dalai Lama up until 1950. So he was his official biographer. And but he used to always teach me. I think he could see that I was an impatient person. It's my early 20s, trying to study and just young. And he would always say, "Zupa chuki ningpo yin. Zupa chuki ningpo yin." Zupa means patience. Chu is dharma. Chu. Ki is of. Ningpo is essence. Yin is. So patience is the essence of dharma. And he'd say that to me, I'd be like, what? Really? No. Like enlightenment is, like Buddha nature or bust, give me now. He's like teaching me, honey, you can't get there without patience. Slow down. There's another term they say, kali kali la. Kali kali la. It's like slowly. Slowly. So beautiful.
But in the Sanskrit, see, patience is sort of a limited English word. In the Sanskrit, it has these connotations of calm abiding.
Shamatha.
Yeah, calm abiding and like, is that sense there in the Zurpa too? Is that connotation there?
Yeah. Like kali, like be chill, like
Yeah.
chill out, right?
Of course, if you want to know how patient any spiritual teacher is, you need to ask their partners.
Yeah.
So you can ask Sky and Kevin about how patient we are.
Yeah, no, I've gotten better. 30 years. I hope. Okay, good. How are you guys doing? Did you make a funny face?
I think they're going to give a good report, Chandra. I'm confident.
Good. They're still around. All right. So how are you guys doing? Do you need to stand up and stretch your knees a little bit? Are you okay? You good? Yeah? You're good. Okay, great. All right. So we have about another 25 minutes or so, and Hareesh has some wonderful chants, and I would like to invite you to sing for us. Do you feel like doing that? And I have a couple more too, maybe 2 and 2.
Well, yeah, whatever you
We'll
like.
go out with some joyful noise. Does that sound good? All right. So we're going to play musical chairs then. How's your knee?
Good.
Hiya, mamacita. All right. Watch out, you need to, your tail.
Oops.
You good?
Mm-hmm. One.
And D, you guys good?
D.
He's got you covered.
Can you play bass? Can you wing it? Can you just like? I'll show you. It says D. It's based around D and G, or you could play tambura if it's in D?
It's not.
Oh,
It's in
not
B flat.
It's not in D, okay. Forget that. Yeah. So if I play something celebratory, will you guys celebrate with me?
Yes.
Okay. See, if I go down and teach in Brazil, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, if you do kirtan there, everyone is instantly into it. They're just singing with so much passion and they're like doing all this stuff and everything. And in Northern Europe, for example, it's extremely different. People are like, and Americans tend to be in between.
Yeah.
So I just encourage you a little bit towards the Brazil end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
For the benefit of all beings,
More
beginning
fun.
with yourself.
Meaning you can get up and dance.
Or just put your heart into it, Put your heart into it. So this is a celebration, and what it's a celebration of is our true nature. It's a celebration of God, and in non-dual tradition, God means what you fundamentally are in your deepest essence, in your deepest nature. Okay, so it invokes the divine under the name of Shiva, the auspicious one, the benevolent one. It says, hooray, hooray, Shiva. And it invokes the divine under the name of Hara. And Hara means the remover. And that's a very important name because, as I hope you all know, the process of spiritual awakening or enlightenment or liberation is a removal process. As Adyashanti put it so well. It is a removal process, meaning to say nothing needs to be added to you because you are already perfect infinite consciousness, if you could only know. But what needs to be removed, something needs to be removed so that you can see yourself as you truly are, experience yourself as you truly are. So the entire spiritual process is simply removing. It's that of removing what is preventing us from seeing and experiencing the truth. So therefore, the remover, that's the one we want to invoke. So
I'm seeing a U-Haul truck somehow.
a very powerful cosmic U-Haul truck.
Oh, Shiva pulls up.
Yeah. If you keep singing Hara Hara, he's going to show up with his removal service. So we're removing ignorance, we're removing veils, we're removing misunderstandings, we're removing confusion, we're removing unresolved experiences that prevent us from being here and now. So whatever you want to cast into this fire of divine removal, do it, and then celebrate your true nature. Even if you only have the tiniest taste of it, celebrate the beauty and magnificence of what you are. So call and response. Start slow. Simple words. Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara. Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara. Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom
Hara, Hara Hara, Om Om, Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Om Hara Hara,
Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara
Hara Hara, Hara Hara, Om Hara Hara,
Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara
Hara Hara, Hara Hara, Om Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara
Hara Hara, Hara Hara, Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara
Hara Hara, Hara Hara, Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara
Hara Hara, Hara Hara, Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara
Hara Hara, Hara Hara, Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara
Hara Hara, Hara Hara, Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara
Hara Hara, Hara Hara, Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara,
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara
Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Jaya Shiva 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 Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Hara Hara
Hara Hara
Bom
Bom Bom Hara Hara. Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Hara Hara Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara.
Hara Hara Bom Bom Hara Hara. Hara 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 Bom Bom Hara Hara. Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara. Jaya Shiva Shankara Bom Bom Hara Hara. Hara Hara Mahadev. May you experience the great removal.
Yes, yes, yes. I like that prayer. Oh, so we shift again.
Hmm.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. When I'm, faced with impermanence, often I'll just say Om Namah Shivaya. Like, thank you very much. I acknowledge the truth of impermanence, transformation as Shiva. And that helps me along the way. Mantra helps a lot, I find. So, I think it'd be nice to do maybe, definitely Govinda. Maybe, no. To do two, but maybe it's too much. And I want to do Tara 5. I also want to end with Govinda, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Maybe we'll do this. We'll do Govinda Jaya Jaya. And we'll really dance and steep. Yeah, get your guitar. Yeah, get your guitar. I think it's better. Take more time with that. So this is on your sheet. I think it's on the second to the last. It's the second to last mantra on the second side of your sheet. This one is F or C is fine, right? Right, Ramana?
What's that?
F or
Yes.
C, yeah. So Ramana and Kevin came with me to Mount Madonna and we played a lot over the weekend. It was very sweet and it's like a little reunion. And we did this one quite a bit. This is one I learned a long time ago. So you see it? It's Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Sri Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Ramana, would you tell us what Govinda and Gopala mean and Jaya also? Please.
Some Sanskrit here.
No, but I want you to talk. It's your turn. Yeah. Ramana teaches Sanskrit too. Go ahead.
Govinda is Lord of the cows.
Oh,
Pala means cowherd.
yeah.
Jaya Jaya, Jaya is victory. Another name for Krishna is Radha Ramana. Ramana means one who delights in, beloved, one who delights in. So the one who delights in Radha is Krishna. So Radha Ramana is the name of Krishna. Hari is the name of Vishnu.
Hari.
Preserver of the
And there's this esoteric yogic meaning where the cows are the senses. Have you heard this one?
Maybe.
The cows symbolize the senses. So Govinda, the finder of the cows, Gopala, the protector of the cows, esoterically means that Krishna, the divine, is the one who brings the senses inward to the radiant heart. They want to go out to grab stuff, like we talked about, and the Govinda, the cowherd, reins them in to the center, and there he protects them. He protects the senses by elevating them in contemplation of the divine.
I love Krishna. Kind of a Krishna devotee in Buddhist costume. Okay, here we go. You ready to open your hearts and swoon? The great love story. Your own senses. The divine. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, 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 Shri Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Shri Radha Ramana Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Sing. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala 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 Jaya Jaya. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala 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 Jaya Jaya. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Grab a dance if you want to. Last chance. Govinda Jaya Jaya. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala 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 Jaya Jaya. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala 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 Jaya Jaya, 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 Shri Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Shri Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Shri Radha Ramana Hari Om. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Om. Last time together. Shri Radha Ramana Hari Om. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Let's finish with a heart prayer of devotion and dedication for the benefit of so many and all infinite beings. There's so many places we can send this love and bliss and joy. Let's picture that now, like love blanketing the earth in warm golden light. Infinite love, Maitri, expanding in all directions, diffusing aversion, hatred, anger, war, greed, suffering in all its forms. May war be pacified, violence come to an end. May the hungry be fed. May the unhoused have shelter if that's what they wish. May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering, avidya, ignorance. And may they realize the beauty and the wisdom and the bliss of their own true nature. So much gratitude. Feel the sound waves radiating these prayers out in all directions. And may you love yourself unconditionally. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Really, I mean, we do this without anyone here, but really it's a lot more fun with you. And we all had such a good time. So thanks for coming out. And thank you, my friend, for joining and sharing your love and wisdom.
And just say one thing about Chandra.
Uh-oh, Dad, it's going to embarrass me.
So when you're in India, you know, it's a hot place. It's a hot country and the sun can just scorch. And when the full moon rises after a hot summer day, it's the most refreshing. It's like you're bathed in this refreshing moonlight. And all the Sanskrit poetry talks about this, that the light of the moon is what bathes us in the experience of sublime nectar. If you didn't know, Chandra means moon, and it's very appropriate. I felt it. No, I'm serious. I felt it in this last chant. Your love is just flowing out, and it's nectarian. It's like the full moon rays after a hot summer day.
Oh, thank you for seeing me. I'll shine on you.
Thank you for being.
Thank you for being.
Yeah, for existing as you do.
Yeah, it's been tough, but I'm committed. I'm here, still here. Oh, and thank you, Ramana, for coming up. And isn't he amazing? Holy moly, holy Krishna, Ramana. Thank you. The one who relished. What is this phrase, Ramana? Shri Radha Ramana Hari. What does that mean again?
Radha Ramana is
the one who
Ramana is the delighter.
The delighter.
He's full of delight.
The one who delights Radha.
Yeah, the one who delights Radha.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful name. So, like Hareesh and Ramana grew up in Dharma, in ashrams. He learned how to play tabla when he was a teen. He teaches Sanskrit and the Yoga Sutras, and this is consummate scholar. He could have held this whole night on his own, but he's humble. And he's a generous soul. I'm so glad you came. Yeah, I really do. Appreciate you. And Kevin, thank you again. So fun.
Kevin on mini bass. Give it up.
Tambura, guitar. Oh, you guys switch every time. Okay, great. And come back anytime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And have fun. I think some of you are taking his course either on the 24th or March 3rd.
Yes, super briefly. 24th is full. My all-day workshop. It's not all day. It's like 10:30 to 5:30 or something. 24th is full unless somebody drops out or cancels. That could possibly.
Is that what you were going to say?
Unless somebody drops out for very good, healthy reasons. But we added March 3rd, which is not full. So another all-day event, similar timing, 10:30 to 5:30, March 3rd. And I'm going to share with people the incredible, powerful tantric yoga practices of the Recognition Sutras at the March 3rd event. So if you don't know what that is, you can still come. But they're tantric yoga, like 6, 7, 8, depending what we have time for, tantric yoga practices that are potentially very powerful for your sadhana, for your spiritual life. Yeah, from the Pratibhijna Hridaya. Yeah.
Well, we could keep going. But I know we all have things to do. We have work tomorrow. So thank you, everybody. We did an extended night tonight. Normally it's 7 to 8:30, but because Hareesh is here and we wanted to really set up in a nice way and take our time, we did a 2-hour class. But normally it's 7 to 8:30. Yeah.
I think these guys would go for 3 hours.
Yeah, I was feeling we were just getting warmed up.
It's all of us.
We should do it again then some other time.
Actually, they're nodding. They would go for 3 hours.
Well, if you break, come back. Okay, well, great. We'll come back, and drop-ins are welcome for my Tuesday night. You're all welcome, even if you're in midstream. We'll go till the 59th slogan. We're only on the 28th. 5 weeks of yantra yoga, Tibetan style yoga here, 7 to 8:30 Tuesday nights with Luke. And then I'll be back on that first, I think it's the first Tuesday in April, I'll be back. Okay. I'll miss you, my people. I'm glad you came out for tonight, and I'll be back. Yeah, I'll see you. God willing, inshallah. Yeah, I'll be back from Mother India. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Please enjoy tea, and maybe you could help us by putting your cushion back along the wall. As you can see, they're propped up already. Just follow the trend.